Well, I'll start by saying that we've tried several constitutions. We started with a parliamentary system, and then we went to presidential, right? When you're seeking for votes, you go out, engage with the people. You can promise them heaven and earth, right? But if you're given the opportunity to serve the people, you have to deliver. And you have to deliver not only to the people of your own party. So you take ownership of government, which belongs to everybody. It's nobody's father's money that we're talking about. It's our commonwealth. So, I see it as being really funny. When, we engage at the federal level and say, look, we think you should do this for the state. And then we hear things like, oh no, you cannot empower your enemy or your competitor. With what? Yes, we'll play the game. While we're campaigning, you will say all sort of things, about the other parties. You try to sell your own programs, policies. But once it comes to governance, because destinies are involved, even generations yet unborn can be impacted. I was telling somebody the story of me meeting with the cabinet secretary in Kenya. That is the equivalent of maybe SGF in Nigeria, the number 3 citizen out there. And he said to me that, look, we were in his office and watching the drama in Gaza, between Israeli and Palestinians. And then he said, look, this could have actually been Kenya, because when they were looking for land to create the state of Israel, Kenya was actually considered. And that bill was defeated by 1 vote in parliament. So some of the things we do in governance, we may think, oh, okay, this is just easy. But generations yet unborn. So, for us, we feel, and for me personally, if you know my political trajectory, this is my very first job in the public sector. And I got the job when I was 51 plus. So what happened to me between 0 and 51? And I'll be 58 midnight tomorrow. So what happened to me between 0 and 51? I operated in the private sector. And I operated not only in Nigeria, but, across different continents. So I believe once prayers have been answered, because I believe nobody can get anything without God giving it to that individual. And even leadership. You cannot become a leader by yourself. It is because God has given that position to you, and He will give people the kind of leaders they deserve at any particular time. In my own Bible, God allowed a wicked king to be enthroned, because at that particular time, God decided that that is the kind of king the people they deserve. But that is usually not the end of the story. So I will say to you that In Nigeria today, we have to rise above partisanship. You know, this may really go straight into the issue within PDP. I say, okay, everybody has decamped, you know, and I'm saying I'm not moved. Because the people that negotiated Nigeria, they have two major things that was in there, in that negotiation. First, federalism. That's why they called us Federal Republic of Nigeria. Two, multi-party democracy. That is why, upon independence, you have an action group here, you have Northern People's Congress, you have Northern NEPU, you have NEPU, you have NCNC. You understand? At independence, it was multi-party democracy. So now you're moving the country towards, you know, a one-party state. It won't work. I was in Ebonyi a few days, maybe 2 days ago, on Friday and Saturday. And then they brought cola to me and said, look, this cola in Igbo land, if you are receiving, you know, a big visitor, you know, this is how you do it. I said, well, kola nut is grown in the west, eaten in the north, and literally worshipped in the east. So you have different nations, different culture within the nation called Nigeria. And the people that negotiated our independence, they felt, look, to have unity in that diversity, it has to be a federal arrangement. If you move the country towards a one-party state, what happens the day you require a multi-party or bipartisan approach to issues? Who are you going to call? The day you move the country towards a one-party state, you remember what happened with the Arab Spring. Once people don't have leadership, they will find leaders, you know, by all means. Mm. So we better get our acts together as political leaders in this country. And that will be my own approach to your question.
Because you said something about PDP, I know there was a time you were in the G5, and that G5 actually supported the president. What happened concerning your relationship between the president and your friend in some week? What happened? Because at some point everybody thought it was all rosy, and then now it went haywire.
Okay, I contested the election for the first time in 2007 to go to the Senate here in Oyo State. And, well, I lost. I contested under AMPP. I was in PDP with Babaladoja. You remember his impeachment and all of that, all the shenanigans that happened within that period. So it wasn't possible. The PDP franchise was handed over to Babadi Dibu. And me as a person, as a 39-year-old, trying to, you know, get into politics for the first time. I didn't like that brand of politics. And I said I wasn't going to be involved with that brand of politics. That was why I contested under AMPP. But ab initio, my first outing in politics, I joined PDP. So we lost. We came back 2011 in PDP again. They didn't even allow me to go past the party primaries. So I lost. And then I said, look, I've been dealing with people here. I think since I've lost twice at the senatorial level, let me move up to, let me promote myself to the governorship level. So I contested in 2015 to be the governor of the state. Again, I lost. But my point is, in all of this journey, I never interacted or went to Bodilon. No. I held my own. Whatever I couldn't get, you know, through the people of Oyo State, I don't believe in godfatherism in politics, so I didn't go. I stayed here, but 2019, the people of Oyo State decided. Did they decide because there was influence of anybody from Bodilon or from outside of the state? The answer is no. So, 2023, we felt that, look, after 8 years of President Buhari from the north, the presidency should come to the south. And I need to also say this, I don't believe that will be a permanent arrangement in Nigeria. I believe Nigeria will get to a point where, you know, if you like, two Ibibios people can be president and vice president, in as much as they are qualified, and we have strong institutions that will ensure that they do what is right for the people of Nigeria. So we felt, look, presidency should come to the south, and within my party, Wike was contesting. I supported him. He lost at the primaries, and then Waziri, former vice president, won from the north against, you know, what we were thinking. But I said, look, if our party has selected somebody from the north, you know, then we should sit down and decide, you know, how is this thing going to work? He came to Ibadan. We were at Ogunlesi Hall out there, and we mentioned to him that, look, you are the candidate of the party. You're from the northeast. Iyochia Ayu, the candidate, the national chairman of the party from North Central. And in that meeting, we were facing the press. I didn't tell him this, you know, in the conference of the government house. No, I said, look, this is Governor Tambuwa. As of that time, he was the chairman of PDP Governors Forum. I said intelligence indicated that you will appoint him as the DG of this campaign. He's from the Northwest. So what are we supposed to use to, you know, campaign, convince people? Because politics is a game of numbers. So we couldn't reach any agreement. We met with him in London, and we said, look, for me, the only thing I said to him in London was, allow us to go and remove Iyochia Ayu, and then make Arakwaja, you know, the acting chairman, because he was deputy national chairman, South, at that time. Make Arakwaja the chairman. He will be at the table when you're all talking and deciding. So in London, I said, just agree with us there and then to go and remove Ayu. How we do it, don't even bother about it. He said, well, we should give him 1 week. He came back to Nigeria, and then the famous statement that, well, these small boys will have moved on. Okay, so if you've moved on, what will I do? We have to do something. That is politics. So we couldn't reach that agreement. And it wasn't Wike that guaranteed the president before me, because I never dealt with them. I've never had any political dealings with them up until that point. Someone else did. I said, okay, fine. If this is what we will do, we'll support you. But even as a candidate, I must have mentioned it more than maybe 3-4 times, that our expectation would be a government of national unity, a government of national competence, where you can start the process of resetting this country. But is it what we are seeing right now? Is it a government of national competence? Is it a government of national unity? The answer is no. When the president said, look, nominate somebody who may be appointed as a minister, I said, sir, what position do you want to give to us? Then he said, I'm looking for a developmental economist who can be the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. I said, okay. I will look for somebody that fits that bill. And I sent somebody's name, who is Oyo State indigene, and I sent it to him. The individual wasn't selected. Rather, they selected the current Minister of Power. He wasn't taken to Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. He was taken to Ministry of Power. A subsequent meeting with the president, he said, Sheyi, I think I must have gone to him to seek for approval for the upgrade of Ibadan Airport. He said, I will sign it for you. I'll give my nod. But sit down. What's happening politically? I heard you're upset because you were not your nominee was not given the ministerial slot. I said, sir, in Yoruba land, if you don't want the pregnancy to be aborted, you won't want the baby to die. Because it's easier to abort a pregnancy than, to kill a baby. I said, you will decide at the end of the day, who you want to work with. We can only suggest people. But if you know people that fit, your bill about the kind of individual you want in your cabinet, we are just to support you. However, let me say this. If you've selected the Minister of Power because you want him to help you organize APC in Oyo State, he doesn't have the capacity. I told the president. He said, no, Sheyi, it's you that I want to help me organize APC in Oyo State. I said, no, sir, I can never help you organize APC in Oyo State because I am of the PDP. So, if we have a government of national unity, a government of national competence, we will have been in a very different environment right now. And let me just mention again this issue of Wike. This.
Your friend.
Huh?
Your friend Wike.
My friend Wike. Okay. So this was the exact first contract that Mobile gave to Macon. I was 29. It was $1 million. Within that 1 year, I made $1 million in my pocket. I was 29. 1997. Wike perhaps at that time just left. He just left law school, and then his next job after that was local government chairman. And the trajectory was, I don't beef anybody. But the real issue is that I was in a meeting with the president and Wike. And I'm saying this, you know, in an open chat. The president's chief of staff was also in that meeting, and a few others. And Wike said to the president that, well, sir, I will hold PDP for you, you know, against 2027. I was in shock. So we got up, we got to the veranda. I said, Wike, did we agree to this? I don't like talking about people, and I will not talk about people or talk about events. But I'll talk about the real issue. The real issue is that Wike would like to support the president for 2027. That's fine. It is within his right to do that. But also some of us that want to, you know, ensure that democracy survives in Nigeria. We don't drift into a one-party state, and we want to ensure that PDP survives. It should also allow us to do our own thing. That is just the issue between me and Wike. And I confided in a mutual friend of us after that meeting. And I kept thinking, okay, I mean, the president did not ask him, do this for me. He was the one that volunteered that I will do that. So when I was telling our mutual friend, I said, look, maybe he was talking about an errand that the president never sent him. So let's watch, let's engage him. Let's see if he will back off. But he never did. So after he didn't back off, I said, well, now it's time to confront him. Because I told him from that day that I will never be a part of this. And that is why I will not be supporting the president for 2027. Wike can support him, he's within his right, but also it is within my own right to decide within the political space who I will support or what I will do in 2027.